This is a follow-up video to my original Charlie Kirk 3006 explanation. I bought a bit of show and tell today, and I'm just trying to help people understand what home loading is and what you can actually do with your cartridge and with your ammunition. So I've just got a couple of examples here. This is a 300 Win Mag piece of brass, similar to a 3006. I haven't got 3006 brass laying around at the moment. I don't own a 3006. Just comparing it to a 300 Blackout brass. These two are both 30 caliber. Will fit the same size projectile in them. Now, as a home loader, I can put less powder in this to bring it down to the same performance as this. Now, I looked in my home loading manual this morning and I did confirm that it's quite easy to bring a 3006 cartridge down to a subsonic velocity at the muzzle. It's not hard, it's around about 13.3 grains of a certain powder. You pop, this is a spent cartridge, you pop the spent primer out, put a new primer in. Well, you resize the cartridge first, put your primer in, look at what bullet weight you're going to be using, what powder you're going to be using, and what you're going to be using it for. You simply figure out what muzzle velocity you want. You put your charge of powder in on top of your new primer, and then you seat. If I want to I can load this 300 Win Mag down to subsonic, no dramas at all. Just put less powder in, and then seat a bullet on top like that. And that, once that's loaded like that, it just looks like factory ammo. And that's what I'm suggesting Tyler's grandfather did for him when he was a young boy, probably around about, probably older than 10 but younger than 15. I'd say he was probably around about 10 to 12 years old when Tyler's grandfather gave him that rifle. I'm suggesting that Tyler's grandfather was probably a good bloke. He probably enjoyed a bit of target plinking. Probably wanted to involve his grandson in an activity that he loved. So he's looked in his cupboard, he's got that 3006 sitting there. It's nothing special, doesn't need to be looked after too much. It's just a gun that he had sitting in his cupboard. Wanted to involve his grandson in a hobby that he loved. He's mounted the scope back, so he's probably had Tyler there to put the scope on and say, oh, does this suit you here? And it's ended up needing the scope to be mounted right far back for a small boy. But he also doesn't want to target plinking. You don't want to be, if it's just for fun, you don't want to be putting excessive amounts of powder in a shell for a young boy, because it's going to punish his shoulder too much to be shooting. I'm suggesting they'll probably 0 to 100, and it was probably shooting pretty well at 100 for those home loads that his grandfather gave to him. Judging by how far off the centre it was probably only an inch and a half out at 142 yards. So I'm suggesting, judging by that one shot, which is, you can't really judge a group by one shot, but judging by that one shot, I'd say at 100 yards, Tyler was probably shooting within a 1 inch group, which isn't bad. But that's with a rifle that's not kicking very much because it hasn't got very much powder in the shell. I'm hoping this helps clear up the idea or the myth. Yes, the 3006 is a big piece of brass like this, but it doesn't matter how big the brass is, it only matters how much powder you put in it. And when you can bring them down to something like this. I can get this here to perform better than this if I want it to. And that's exactly what Tyler's grandfather did back in the day. I'm not saying I had one comment there, oh, so you're suggesting that he loaded ammunition with a screwdriver on the roof. No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that these home loads were done by his grandfather or his father many years ago when he first got the rifle. I'm suggesting that he's had the rifle sitting under his bed with these ammunition that was already loaded for him when he was a young boy. And for all Tyler knew, they were shooting just fine at 100 yards. But I don't think Tyler understood what they were doing past 100. Because once those low velocity, big caliber rifles with a bit of weight in them, once they get past 100 yards, your 0 point, they're falling pretty quick. And like I said, I reckon it fell at least 8 inches, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches. It's probably dropped before it hit Charlie. Yeah, so for everyone that's saying, oh, the 30-06 will take the side out of a deer at 200 yards, yes, it will. But not when you've only got 13 grains, 14 grains of powder in it. It won't. It's going to be subsonic at the muzzle. So, for all you snipers and tactical people out there, I'm sure you can understand what I'm talking about. I know home loaders and hunters. You can understand what I'm talking about when you think back to what the intentions of the gun were when it was given to him. The gun, I don't believe, was ever a hunting rifle. I think it was just a 100-yard plinking family activity. And that's how the rifle remained and how the ammo remained, and that's the ammo that was used on the day. I hope that helps clarify for people that haven't been around hunting and ammunition and reloading for as many years as I have. I hope that helps clarify exactly what I was trying to say. I better get back to work. Have a good day.